What is up, my fellow Chibits? Today I'm here to bring all of you another anime review on Assassination Classroom Season 2. It's been a while, actually. I mean, it had a break last week, a brief hiatus, and it is finally back. And it was a little bit delayed today, but it's better late than never for Assassination Classroom. So, we have a new opening song. And that's the first thing I want to talk about, okay? Before I get into the content of this episode, let's just talk about the opening. So this is going to be the final opening of Assassination Classroom, because as you all know, anime onlys, if you're aware, and manga readers as well, if you are aware, the anime is going to be covering to the very end of the series. So we're going to get to see the final chapter in the anime for this season of Assassination Classroom. So that means that this is going to be the final opening song for the series. Now, in terms of being the final opening song, I'm not the biggest fan of the lyrics. I personally prefer the lyrics from the first, opening song we got from, this first half of Season 2. But I do like the message of the song. I understand the message. The message is very strong. And what it tries to imply is something only manga readers at this time would be able to understand. I'm not going to spoil you anime only, so don't worry about that. But the opening song definitely hits the, the right feels and emotions for the final stretch of the series. It definitely does a good job of that. But I'm just a bigger fan of the lyrics from the, first half of Season 2. Maybe, this new opening will grow on me as I continue to watch it. That's what happened to me when I watched the first, opening song of Assassination Classroom. But I will say, however, that this opening song definitely was very nice. It kept things very subtle when it came to the spoilers, but it was kind of easy to notice some things if you really take the time to actually look at it. So, very good job on the animators and the production team on that for kind of keeping the spoilers down when it came to the opening song, because I know many shonen that love spoiling the fuck out of everything when it comes to an opening song. Fairy Tail, I'm looking at you. And so I'm glad to see how Assassination Classroom didn't have a bunch of shit spoiled, so well done there. Okay, so, talking about the episode in general, it is split up into two different segments. The first segment is where Kayano, that entire issue with her is being settled, and then the second half of the episode focuses on the backstory of Koro-Sensei and what he really is, or where he came from. So before I get into Koro-Sensei's backstory, let's talk about Kayano, since that was already in discussion with last week's episode, or 2 weeks ago actually, since it's been on a break. So, Kayano is going crazy, becoming reckless, trying to defeat Koro-Sensei, kill him, and we come to find out from the emotions of Kayano when she started talking, was that she did feel like she was a part of the class. She was going to change. She wanted to know more about Koro-Sensei. She didn't think Koro-Sensei was completely evil, and she wanted to know more about him. And at the time, thanks to this of her having the tentacles inside of her head, it made it to where she still had bloodlust, even though she didn't want to have it, which started controlling her and led to this very situation. So, Kayano was actually changing and becoming a very good-hearted person, and did have feelings and emotions for the class member she had. Now, besides that, we also have it to where we have some shipping going on. For instance, Nagisa and Kayano, they have a kiss. And I can already see all the fanboys and fangirls coming together and be like, oh my god, they fucking kissed. And I got a very good laugh from that, because when you saw the hitbox pop up, like 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits, like combo, I was just laughing, because it was so funny how that was added into this episode. I didn't expect to see that added in. And with the way it was done, the comedy, the atmosphere of it, I just couldn't help but laughing. And it was a very cute scene. It's definitely very fucking cute. So if you love, Kayano and Nagisa, and you like that pairing, you're definitely gonna love this episode for that. Especially with how, Nagisa managed to calm her down in the end of the first half. So after all that is settled, everything is pretty much fine. Koro-Sensei, he's like, my heart needs some time to recover, and it's going to take a while till I'm back in full prep health. Then we get to see, actually, the real face and appearance of Shiro. He reveals that he has, like, a mechanical eye, and that he has a connection to Koro-Sensei. So now we get this, real reveal of who is really working behind the scenes against Koro-Sensei, which leads into the second half of the episode with the flashback. So here we go. So the flashback. In terms of execution, well done. Very good. Well done execution when it came to the reveal of Koro-Sensei and his past, or so far from what we have seen of it. I am kind of surprised how much content is being pressed into these episodes, though, because, I mean, I felt like it took a whole lot longer to make, these chapters. Like, when I was reading the arcs, I felt like it was at least 10 chapters or whatever for this arc, but it seems like they've already kind of maybe have done about a quarter, maybe a half of this flashback already in just one episode, or half an episode, which is kind of surprising to me. But, when it came to the flashback, though, we were revealed that Koro-Sensei was actually a human. He's not an alien, he's not a squid monster from space that's invading, he is actually a human. And we come to find out at one point in time, he was an assassin. And this was actually foreshadowed for a very long time. The god of death, the Reaper. And the Reaper was always Koro-Sensei. He was an assassin a long time ago, and he trained a pupil to become his next person to lead on. For instance, the person we saw a couple arcs ago that was also the Reaper, that person was a disciple of Koro-Sensei, Koro-Sensei's first student. And we come to find out that Koro-Sensei used to kill a lot of people, kind of what his upbringing was, and also what led him to become what he was. For instance, he got captured and turned in by his student, and he is now being experimented on to where he became what he is. For you have to where Shiro was trying to find a way to make antimatter, and that's what we see happen to Koro-Sensei as, you know, the cycle goes on. For instance, the cell cycle, you had to where he was trying to make antimatter. And so Koro-Sensei was being experimented on constantly, but also he was manipulating Shiro in a way to where he can make the success of the experiment a whole lot more successful, instead of actually it failing maybe halfway in. So Koro-Sensei was manipulating Shiro since the very beginning of the experiment to be able to make sure everything succeeds and Koro-Sensei does not die. Now we're introduced to another character, which used to be the teacher of E-Class. Now we've seen her little here and there throughout the series, but we're introduced to her character, and she is the one that was teaching E-Class. She seems to be very spunky and quirky, and overall the shirt and attire like she wears is very different from what you would normally see, and Koro-Sensei constantly, you know, pegs out, like, hey, that's very weird and stuff, that's like weird clothing you're wearing, and you get to see how this bond begins between these two. And as we can see, Koro-Sensei is slowly starting to grow closer to this girl, this teacher that used to teach E-Class throughout the episode. So that's about it when it comes to the episode of Assassination Classroom. It was a very good episode. It dived into a lot of Koro-Sensei's past, and I'm glad to see it. This is definitely something that's going to get all the anime onlys hyped up. I'm hyped up included as a manga reader, because I can't wait to see some certain scenes of anime. It's going to be fucking epic. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or not, wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.